There was a nationally televised live sporting event from right here in the Triangle last night, and it's July 20th.
Yeah.
So it was July 19th. Not middle of fall, wasn't football season, not quite yet, not basketball season when everyone's eyes turn this way. Wrexham Chelsea. Can't write this stuff.
No.
Dennis, you were there.
I was there.
Give us the vibe of Kenan Stadium.
It reminded me, I could talk today. It reminded me a lot of the Stadium series in the sense of the vibe around. Now, there wasn't the tailgating and the all-day build-up leading up to the Stadium series. There wasn't that because Stadium series was played on a weekend and we had all the tailgating and that kind of stuff. But it kind of reminded me a little bit of that in the sense of just the energy outside of the stadium, inside the stadium, the anticipation for the game, because this has been talked about and looked ahead towards for a long time for a lot of people. So it reminded me of the Stadium series in a lot of different ways in that regard, if that makes sense.
And I think both of those things, there's I would say the last 20 years, there's been a rise in these kind of stunt games. And what I mean by that is, I remember vividly Carolina basketball playing on like an aircraft carrier.
Was it Kentucky or Michigan State?
I think it was Michigan State.
Michigan State sounds right.
There was a couple of them, and I don't know how many Carolina played in, but they were on an aircraft carrier or something like the series you were talking about when hockey are in these really cool venues.
Mm-hmm.
To me, they are, and just similar to what Wrexham is for soccer, they're kind of the front porch. Right? They're going to get you to look at the house.
Yeah.
But then you need a good house. You know what I mean? And I think the disappointing thing from last night, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here because I was not in the building. I did watch a decent amount of it on TV, which is, again, just an awesome thing that it was available. Very easy to find. The game was kind of a blowout. I kind of wish Wrexham brought some, they were league games or something, because you watch the documentary, and those games were so wildly thrilling, coming all the way down to the wire, and people are hugging, people they don't know next to them in the stands because it meant so much. And then you have that game, and Chelsea is just, I mean, it's not quite fair. So what was it, 5-0 final score, 5-0 final score. That to me is like the novelty of it, the stunt of it is going to get over 50,000 people in Kenan Stadium. Like it was, and did it feel like that?
It was 50,596 was the official total.
It played on on the broadcast, right? It looked like a full stadium.
It was.
You had 50,000+ people there, and you can't tell me they're all diehard soccer fans. Right, a lot are just sports fans in this area, and we know there's a lot of passionate sports fans within a couple hours of driving. So to me, it's like 50-50, right? The 50% of it is just getting the eyeballs on you and watching the game, and then it's 50% of can you deliver something that makes it worth their while, and that comes from the on-field. That also comes from, and we're going to talk about this throughout the show. It comes from everything surrounding the game. Right? It comes from if you bring a 4 or 5-year-old to the game and they have an attention span of 20 minutes, do you have something for them to do every 20 minutes where they can go, I don't know, get a cotton candy? Can they go, at a baseball stadium, they have like the pitch thing where you get the miles per hour. Like, is there things to do?
There's Woolies World at Durham Bulls Athletic Park where kids can go play in a playground.
Exactly. With an overhang. So the foul balls aren't quite as dangerous.
Yeah.
Like those types of things matter when you're building a fandom. If you are, like ACC basketball, your fandom is built, right? The big games, the big games are going to be packed. If you're Wrexham football and you're going around to try to make fans in this part of the world, you have the Netflix show, you have this little stunt event game in the Triangle. I think you have to work pretty darn hard once you get the eyeballs to make it successful. And I watched on like I said, I watched on television.
Yeah.
It felt like I was watching a major, top of the line soccer game.
Mm-hmm.
They had the announcers, they had the accents, right? They They knew all of the players. Like I'm obviously they knew all the players, but I'm saying it felt like a big soccer game. It just felt like a big soccer game that was between a team that's at the top level and a team that's at the fifth level, which is what it was.
Yeah, it's to give you a little context. It's like the Canes playing the Fayetteville Marksmen of the Southern Professional Hockey League.
Exactly.
Keep it local.
Yeah, exactly. And it's going to be hard for that game to be a wildly entertaining game, right? And you have to know that going in, right? The Canes are going to win that by as much as they want to win by. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. When they choose to stop scoring is when they're going to stop scoring. And when you do that, and just the same as like if Chelsea's playing Wrexham, you have to assume that Chelsea's going to win by whatever score they choose. You have to make sure that it's the environment is exciting and that everybody leaves, whether it's a close game or not, with a smile on their face.
Yeah.
And I think they did a halfway decent job of that.
I thought they'd actually probably did even more than that because to a lot of people, a lot of people were there rooting for Wrexham, which makes sense. They were kind of like the home team last night, but the result of the game didn't matter. Didn't matter going in. Like, it didn't matter if Wrexham won. Didn't matter if it was a draw or Chelsea won. It just didn't matter because, A, there's no stakes to the game. It's just an exhibition. But we got to enjoy the experience of watching them play live and in person. Like, wait, all these guys I see on television that have been glorified in the sense of the documentary, like the
turned into stars.
Turned into stars. Like, these average dudes turned into stars. And I say average in the sense of they're just humans. Average
they're
people.
just their fifth level of
they're
European soccer players. And
exactly.
they're good at, like, again, some of them are very good, but they're better than any of us will be at soccer. But
absolutely.
They're not Chelsea.
But they've grown into superstars here in the United States. Like, wow, I got to see them. Oh, and I also got to see one of the most historic football clubs in the whole world in Chelsea at the same time. Win-win. I got to be there for it. Doesn't matter the result of the game. And I will say this, though. Even though Wrexham lost 5-0, they weren't afraid to go for it. Especially, I saw in the first half, they were just like, you know what? We're taking shots. We're like, or in terms of like, we're just going to push the pace down the field. Now, Chelsea was just simply better, but the game was entertaining.
That was going to be my next question. Did it feel like, you know, in a basketball game when the home team scores like two easy buckets or something, and then they pull up from three in transition, and you feel like the whole... You know, like that if it goes in and, you know, if they miss, the announcer has to go, if that would have dropped, the roof would have come off this place. Did it feel like you were waiting on a Wrexham goal?
Oh, yeah.
See, that's why I kind of wish there was more of a level competitive balance, because 2 or 3 goals from Wrexham, I think, would have made a couple fans like diehard fans, right? It would have just, whatever your fandom is, it would have leveled up if they got it to the back of the net.
I forget the player, but he took a bicycle kick attempt there in the first half. He missed by like 15 feet. Like, he missed pretty wide, but still, like, they're going for it. And they had a lot of corner kick opportunities in the first half, but if they would have gotten 1 goal there in the first half, the place would have gone bananas.
The reason I'm a Mets fan is because the local team where I was growing up at the time was the Philadelphia Phillies. My dad took me to a game and Mike Piazza hit a home run off the foul ball pole. And it's just like, yep, that highlight made me like, I'm no longer interested in the local team. I'm interested in the visiting team as a 7-year-old or whatever I was at the time. Wrexham could have had that moment, but not against Chelsea, because in that instance, right, Chelsea's just like, no, you're not hitting any home runs. We're going to no-hit you and get out of here with our B team. But still, cool atmosphere. North Carolina took advantage of it. UNC, they had all of the thank yous and the commemorative footballs and everything being passed around. So, any reason to make your stadium the center of the sports world for a couple of minutes, it's worth it. Just eyeballs on your program, attention on your program never hurts recruiting, and that's what the Tar Heels were able to do with the help of Wrexham and Chelsea.